are back. Feel free to just, leave some questions below. Sorry about that technical difficulty. I don't know why it does that, by the way. Who's better right now? Say who's better? So now. It's almost 10 o'clock. Yeah, Zay, who's better at this stuff? I might. I don't know. I don't know that. I might. I might actually ask Rudy if he wants to hop on, but I don't know yet. We have no one in the chat anyway. But we'll see. We'll see. As the night goes along. So you said that in the last one. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous to ask for Bell. I'm not gonna lie. I am just. I don't know. He is a cool dude. He really is, and he's one of the nicest people I know. But I don't know. I just feel nervous. It's not about him. It's just more about my insecurity. I'll ask him. I'll send it to him. Yeah, he's busy. Don't worry. I'll ask him right now. He's busy. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's nothing about him. It's just everything about me. His growth has been incredible though. He's one of my. I said it on like 2 streams ago. I think I said like he's like my favorite like creator right now as far as basketball goes. He just does so many incredible things. He's so smart. Rusty Buckets is simping over Haley Williams right now. I don't want to bother him. We're gonna. I might ask Mojo sometime, but I'll see what Rusty's actually doing right now. Not to get him on stream, but I just want to say because he did tweet something that intrigued me. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good time to ask Rusty right now. He's about to get shook down by the IRS. That's according to his Twitter, obviously. I'll shoot my shot. You say, why don't you ask him? Because I can't be asking all these people. I'm sorry the screen is so glitchy right now, by the way. I can't do anything about that. Um it's my computer webcam, but we'll see. Start asking questions though. That's all I can ask. Wow. During the stream. Wow. Hmm. Yeah, I sent that out to Robel. He doesn't seem like he's responded. I forgot what I was talking about before the stream died on me. So I keep on getting these student loan things, even though I don't have to worry about that right now because I'm in a community college. But I keep on getting those about student debt, not student loan, student debt, which I'm not in right now, and why I went to community college is to take care of those. I don't know why I'm getting those. I think the government's after me. I'll be honest. Zay, if you're still there, give me your thoughts on Noah Farrakhan. Because I personally think that Noah Farrakhan has talent to be something. I don't think he's ever going to be anything like special, but I do think he has, potential. I think he can be like a really good college player at ECU. But Jay, if you're not busy calling, if you are, don't worry about it. But if you aren't, feel free to call. We're eating a. Do you know who Javon? Yeah, I know who Javon Carter is. I watched Trey Young, so I've also watched Trey Young tape, and I've seen what Javon Carter did to him. It was not fun. It was not a fun time for Trey Young in those West Virginia versus Oklahoma games. That's for sure. Devontae Graham handled him a lot better, though. Yeah, but he was giving Trey Young fits. And you could tell Trey Young was visibly frustrated having to go up against him. Oh, what's going on? Oh. Something weird happened with my stream. So, you a West Virginia fan? That's cool. It's cool. Cool. I don't have a set college basketball team. I think Javon Carter's ceiling is just a guy. There's another guy in the league. Don't think he'll ever be anything special. Just a good guy, plays defense. That's about it. If we're being honest with ourselves. Yeah, a player like that, this guy comes off the bench and just kind of plays defense. I think that's realistic ceiling for him. I think he'll be fine. He's not really doing anything much though. But, that was kind of what I expected. He also looks like he's like 30, but hmm, hmm. I'd love to see matching the trades. I'd say it would be different story. Yeah, it would be a different story. Trey would cook him in the NBA now. Trey, he's gotten physically stronger. You can kind of tell that as well. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see. That'd be a fun little matchup. Two. Yeah, I was just saying something to someone. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I think it would be a different story in the NBA. Maybe some more questions, by the way. I would be the breakthrough. Okay. I don't know who that is. Well, I would like to know who that is, though. Look him up, though. Look him up. Stream. I'll throw that up after, though. He seems like an interesting character. Interesting name. I know nothing about him, by the way. RB Breakthrough. I'll have to check him out. He does seem like an interesting character. I will say that. RB the Big. Well, he seems very much like Chisel Adonis, who I really like. So I'll give him a look after the stream's over. Keep on sending questions, guys. What? Why does Ante Zizic have the potential to be a top three center in the NBA? Um, you see, I could just say that he isn't going to be that. Or, knowing my luck, I would say that, and he would end up being a top three center in the NBA. Like I have no way. But what's up, Crispy? Why does Ante? Well, per 36, he does have a double double. So there is that. If you give him more minutes, he probably would have more points. Doesn't take any threes though. That's the one concern. Like legit is not taking a single three in his NBA career. So I don't know. That one's gonna work out. That should be interesting. Go up to Sebastian while you're at though. If you're in the chat, you can probably just click his name and it'll take you to his channel. I also have his channel under my suggested channels on my channel page, so you can go check that one out as well. But go sub to him. Who would win 262 Deuce Tatum to one silver? I'm taking my chances with 262 Deuce Tatum's, honestly. Just because he has the athletic genes. And his bag and Deuce Tatum's bag will be deeper. That might be something that's tweet worthy, by the way. Just that might be something tweet worthy. So one thing I was thinking about from the stream 2 nights ago was there's this guy in my stream and he said that Jalen Johnson is going to Duke, top 5 player in the class in my opinion. Got suspended and kicked off of IMG's team because he got caught smoking weed in his dorm room. And I was thinking about this guy. I tweeted it out, like I asked him, like, "Is this true?" And then I deleted it because I was afraid of Jalen Johnson's dad, who was known to get into Twitter beefs. I just didn't want to get caught up in that. But I actually do wonder what happened with Jalen Johnson and what happened with his situation at IMG. Keep on sending those questions. No, it's I left. Opinion on Adam Silver. It's not a very good one. I'll be honest with you. I don't like the way he's handled his bubble situation. Uh, the whole China situation. Don't really know how he handled that. I have mixed opinions about that one. And I think it's way too much credit for the Donald Sterling thing because I just think that if they came, I think that like that's just a common sense thing to do. Like, I don't think should get credit for doing something with common sense. Jimmy Butler, Paul George. Um, last year I would say Paul. No, last year I would have said Paul George. This year Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's underrated, by the way. Could you take on any NBA player on in a fight? No, every single NBA player would toss me so easily. Like, I'm built like Brandon Ingram, and I have the athleticism like Winnie the Pooh. Like, I'm not beating anyone in a fight. Like any like college athlete, I'm not beating in a fight. Any high level athlete could kick my ass. Like any of them. But yeah, with that. Also, I'm like 5'10", so like I'd easily be like the shortest player probably in that situation, and the lightest as well. Would Melo fit with the Lakers? What's Melo? LaMelo Ball or Carmelo Anthony? Yeah, because he's a scorer, and that's what they need. He'd be an upgrade over Kuzma, that's for sure. Carmelo actually had a really good year. If they had a comeback player of the year this year, it would have gone to Melo. Because it looked like he was done, like the moment he got released from Houston. So, like The fact that he's able to come back with Portland, I'll look up the numbers now. He averaged 15 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 2 assists per game. Shot decently from three, shot 37% from three, shot 42% from the field, had a decent effective field goal percentage. And what was his true speed? Oh, it was inefficient, but it was fine, honestly. 51.2% true shooting percentage. It's not efficient, but it's fine for what it is, honestly, for being real with results. Portland would have been easily at least the 8th seed this year. They didn't deal with it if they had Nurkic, by the way. Like if they had Nurkic, they easily would have been the 8th seed. They're my second favorite team in the league. Yeah, but yeah, just keep on sending those questions, guys. It's really about like draft prospects and things like that, and high school prospects as well. What do you mean like plus Sebastian Sousa? Do you mean like if we both took on an NBA player, we would in a fight? Like what are you talking about? Massive free for all brawl of NBA players who comes out on top? Probably James Johnson because that guy knows like that guy's a black belt. Like and he looks good as all hell. Like, I would never want to fight that dude in my life. Yeah, but probably James Johnson. Either James Johnson or like I don't know who else. Like I don't know, DeMarcus Cousins. Maybe I doubt it. This is huge. I don't know. James Johnson though probably easily just because he knows how to fight. He legit knows how to fight. Like it'd be him and then probably like Jimmy Butler, Chris Dunn, and Marcus Smart just because of like the situations that they've been through throughout life. Athletes are probably nothing to them. David Robson would be anyone? Interesting. I don't know about that. I mean, dude was jacked, but you know he went to the military and all that stuff. I don't know. He was in the Air Force and is skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Plus, he's really big. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know a lot about other NBA players, so it's hard for me to say. The stream's getting glitchy again. You can tell. Again, we can say that, but I don't know. I just don't know. Do you think the season will work? I think it will work. I think there are plenty of risks, though. Wouldn't be shocked if it did work. I hope it works, honestly. Like, anyone should hope it works. It's just, I just have concerns. I feel like, with everything going on around the world, and just things like that, the pandemic, it just doesn't seem safe. I was just thinking about this as well. I probably will do something like this for the draft as well. I probably plan on doing this for the draft. I probably plan on doing this. I might do this for playoff games. I'm not sure how it would work because my TV's like over there, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find a spot to do that. But we'll see about that. And also, I don't know about copyright stuff with the volume and how loud I can have it. But I do plan on doing this for the draft, and I just said do very weirdly. I'm about to give you one of my hot takes. Go ahead, shoot it out. The only true super team was the Golden State Warriors. Kevin Durant. I think the Miami Heat were a super team. You have three. You had two top 10 players and one probably top 20 player or top what? At least like top 25. I think Miami was a super team. You'd have three guys for a super team. You can't have two. What's that? every season they have plenty of competition. Golden State had competition as well, though. Like, I don't think that the Spurs would beat them, even if Kawhi doesn't get hurt. But I think that the Spurs would give them for money, and Houston almost beat them. And then in the final year, you know, the Clippers gave them a run for their money, and then Houston, of course, they had Durant injuries, and after that, it was nothing. But like, there's only two teams. Yeah, but they could have won, and they almost lost. Yeah, but think about it this way though, like only two teams really gave Miami any sort of trouble, and that was the Spurs, who beat them, and the Pacers. No one else really gave them competition. Like, name one team outside of Indiana and San Antonio that gave them a run for their money more than once. Like, name them. Like, I can't name those teams. Like, OKC, and they had the advantage of OKC dealt with injuries in 2013, and they, lost in 2014. Like, the Spurs and the Pacers were the only two teams that really gave them fits for more than 1 year. And you can't tell me otherwise. Like, Boston gave them fits 1 year, they got blown out in 2011. 2012, they were solid competition, but like they almost won 2011 in 2012, but they really didn't even do much in 2013 or 2014. Actually, in 2014, we sucked, so we didn't even make the playoffs. But Brooklyn didn't do anything. Like, New York really didn't do anything. Orlando wasn't able to do anything. Then why did they almost lose in the first round? I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant played every game of that series, by the way. Yeah, but it's still like they're teams that can compete. So it's two teams that were able to compete with them, and only two teams were ever really able to compete with Miami. They lost 2 games because they went to 6 games. They won game 1, they steamrolled them, they lost game 2, they won game 3, they won game 4, they won game 4 by 7, they lost game 5, and then they won game 6. But that series was relatively close. I'm not saying it was true competition, but let's not act like Miami had any competition outside of Indiana in the East. Because I could easily say the same thing. And it's because they had some competition does not mean they were a super team. Having 3 top 25 players in the league qualifies you to be a super team. Were they as good of a super team as, say, as the Warriors? No, they weren't, but they were still a super team. They were a true super team. And they had a healthy Kevin Durant for that Clippers series, by the way. He averaged 35, 5, and 5 in that series. He was incredible. He was like, I was so mad that he got injured because he was on pace to have like not only one of his best final runs personally, but one of the best final runs of all time. And they would have won in 2019 if they were healthy, but if they really were a super team, you could have lost one of them and still won. No, they would have won in 5 games, mind you. The Raptors would have won in 5 games if Nick Nurse didn't get injured. Not Nick Nurse. If Nick Nurse didn't call timeout. My bad. And even with that, though, like really though, but you can I'm not saying that the Warriors aren't better than Miami as a super team, but let's not act like Miami wasn't a super team. Those were 3 bona fide top 25 players. That's what a super team was, and a good supporting cast around them. Mario Chalmers was a solid point guard for a long time. Nose Cole was a solid backup. Ray Allen, we all know what he did. Mike Miller, we all know what he was able to do. Like, they wouldn't have steamrolled Houston. They would not have steamrolled Houston. Yeah, OKC only gave him. OKC was only 1 year. They never played him again. Mavs only 1 year. Look what happened. Lakers don't even. That's a joke, by the way. It's a joke. They were done after 2012. Jesus, yeah, I mentioned them in the Spurs. Like, but only 2 of those teams that you just named gave them a run for their money more than 1 year. No one else was able to give them a run for their money consistently. And OKC dealt with injuries as well. You have to remember that. And the Mavs were done after that 2011 finals. They were never a contender after that. So that's only 1 year. And the Lakers never faced them. Mavs. No, the Mavs. Yeah, the Mavs. I'm not saying the Mavs didn't give him competition, but that was only 1 year. The Lakers weren't going to give him any competition that year. And really, the only other threat minus Indiana in the East was derailed by injuries, and that was Chicago. It's a completely different story. The East is a completely different story if Derrick Rose never gets injured. Does Kobe Bryant belong in the top 20? I think Kobe Bryant belongs in the top 10. He's one of my. I think I have him like either 10 or 9. Depending on the day of the week, honestly. I don't have an official list. I never actually made an official list. Like, the only thing consistent is Michael Jordan, LeBron James are at the top of that list. Then probably Kareem 3, Magic 4, Bill Russell 5, Wilt 6, Larry 7, Tim Duncan 8, Hakeem 9, and then probably either Kobe or Shaq 10. But I'm unsure about that. Because I think while Shaq's peak was better than Kobe's, I also think Kobe was able to sustain his success for longer. Because people forget, once Shaq got traded to Miami, it was kind of downhill from there. Like, he underachieved in his career, in my opinion. His number, he easily should be like one of the 5 best players of all time, just based off his talent, his dominance. But because of the injuries he started to suffer, really, once he got into that feud with Kobe, like, Kobe's problems with him had a lot to do with the work ethic. So, like, that was the problem. And that's, why he kind of began to fell off. He just didn't maintain his body that well. I do think that Kobe's close to the top 10. I would have him in my top 10 depending on the day of the week. I never made an official list. If I did, he either would be top 10 or would be close. What I mean by day of the week is, like, I still have consistency. Like, I can't say one player's better than the other. Like one day I'll be like, okay, Michael's better than LeBron. The next day, like, okay, LeBron's better than Michael. I just never been able to make that consistent list. Somewhat the same for the top 10 players in the league as well, especially this year though, because of the injuries we've seen the guys like KD. The interesting debate about LeBron and Giannis and things like that. But I do think Kobe is definitely top 20 all time. Like, I don't think that's up for much debate. I think that people overstate the efficiency thing because he never started above, I believe, like 46% from three, but not from three, from the field overall. He never started, I believe, okay, that's all. At Kobe. He never shot above 46.9% from three, from the field. I gotta keep on saying that. But I think that's a lot to do with the area he played in. The spacing in that area was horrible. You look at a lot of the guys like Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, Vince Carter. Really only like guys like Dwayne Wade and LeBron were the only two guys I could say were like efficient players in that era. But Kobe was a relatively efficient throughout most of his career, and you really only saw him like fall off to the end when it came to his efficiency. But his true shooting percentages, he's a career 55% true shooting percentage. But if you look at him from his first All-Star appearance to like 2013, which I believe was the last great year of his career, he's a 55.6% true shooting percentage. This is around league average, like 45% from the field. So I think he was fine in efficiency, especially at the volume he was taking his shots at. I think he's the second greatest shooting guard of all time, easily behind Michael. And then you're looking at Wade for third, and then you're looking at probably Harden for Allen Iverson five. So that rounds out my top five. But I realistically, he is definitely top 20. I would actually have probably around 10 or 11. One of my favorite player of all time as well. It was tough for me to admit that LeBron was better than him. I will say that. I was such a I am still a diehard Kobe fan, but it was really hard for me to like admit that LeBron was better because like I just had such like a fandom for Kobe. Yeah, what's up, Seth? Thanks for asking that question. That was an interesting one. Interesting. Kobe's an interesting character, by the way. You know, he only has one MVP, but and even like the years he could argue he should have won it. The guy I believe like there's another guy one of the years Steve Nash won it. Like you could argue Kobe deserved it more, but I would also argue that like LeBron or Dirk probably deserved it more than Kobe did. But no, I don't think the MVPs really just talk about how great he was for how long his career was. Like to be able to be like play at like a super high level from probably around 2000 to 2013. So that was probably his prime. And you're looking at like for over 1,000 games, you're like consistently one of the best. What are your thoughts on BO list? What's BO list? Like the bubble players list, or like the all time list? Because I know the all time list was made by Andy Bailey, and Andy Bailey bases his entire all time list on advanced stats. And as someone who does like advanced stats, actually, I do find a lot of them valid. Like you can't base your whole argument on it, but which one was it? Because I think both, actually, in general, all of Bleacher Report's lists have been trash. Like, let's be real with ourselves. Oh, the top 30 players in the bubble. Oh my god, that was hilarious. I'll pull it up actually right now if I can find it. Um, I gotta do something real quick. Stream. So, yeah, that list was so bad though. I'll try and find it. 30 players in the bubble. Who's Do you actually can you DM me the list? It's gonna take forever for me to find it. CA, can you can you DM me that so I can see it? Hmm. Oh my god. Yeah, keep on saying questions though. If anything about like draft prospects or before we leave guys at the top, I'll be 100% honest. This is a really rough year for draft prospects, and it was just hard for me to consistently talk about the guys at the top. Not at the top, like toward the middle and the late. It's a very frustrating year to like just watch tape. But I have like a decent grasp on my top 20 guys. So, any questions about that? If you want high school as well. Why is Grant Serfield? I'll look that name up. I haven't. I'll get Brant. Which is so that's your school. Bass. That's right. Um. Really? Oh, so he went to Sunrise Christian. I probably saw him play because I believe Sunrise Christian played a Hoop Hall Classic. I think I probably watched them play there. We'll see. He did play at Nations as well. Recruiting for. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see who this guy is. So I believe Sunrise Christian played. I'm looking up. Sunrise Christian. Yeah, so they played Hillcrest Prep, who has Dalen Terry, who's my favorite player. One, or not one, my favorite, but like one of my favorite players in the 2020 recruiting class. So I wonder if he played. If there's another game he played. Actually, he probably wouldn't have played in that game. Um, because of the fact that it was this year and he probably was playing at this year. So he was a year actually away probably from that. But we'll look him up. He's a scout. Freshman. Oh, rep. This stream probably just got demonetized because of or copyright claim. That's say because of the audio in the background. And we'll ask him. Interesting stats. God damn it, they did it. Put up solid stats as a freshman. I will say that. Probably will stay a few years though. You'll never know. Maybe I'll be talking about him in the future. About what type 25? Are we talking about like the top 25 for the bubble list, or are we talking about like top 25 draft prospects? Hmm. Yeah, but keep on saying, send me questions about like high school guys as well, or some college guys. Yeah, just sing like this. Maybe even some guys that like I have made videos on. Maybe some guys I haven't. But probably guys at the top right now, because that's as far as like high school goes. Like those are the guys that I'm focusing on the most. And then we'll slowly make our way down the list to guys as well. I will say this about like my scouting. well, not scouting, but like just like taking some of this stuff a bit seriously. I don't really base my opinions on what the mainstream media says. I kind of base it more of like what I see than anything. Like the idea that AJ Griffin is rated like at like 9 when he should be like the best or second best player in his class. I think he's second behind Paulo. Is ridiculous to me. I think it's absolutely absurd. It's based off like you can't like watch his tape, watch what he's able to do, and then like try and tell me he's not one of the two best players in the country. But keep on sending those questions. Yeah, but they didn't play those teams. That's the point. Like the point is like Thunder weren't going to give him a run for their money because Russell Westbrook got hurt in the first round. It kind of does matter because that team without Russell Westbrook is worse than it would have been with Russell Westbrook. If healthy, yeah, but they weren't healthy. That's the thing. Are we gonna say that the rap? Listen, like so, let's say LeBron wins a title. Are we gonna like degrade him for that title just because Steph and Clay were into? No. Like we're not gonna like okay that's not a good example because that team was just so well rounded. But like say a team goes and faces another team in the finals, and like for some unforeseen circumstance, the other team's best like 3 players get injured and can't play in the finals. Are we about to like act like that's some great competition just because that was a team? It does matter, and they weren't healthy. If Russell Westbrook gets hurt, they aren't as good of a team. And if they somehow made to the finals without Westbrook, it would have been that much of a competition considering Harden was gone. Yeah, but like you're not gonna say that they beat Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving and LeBron. They beat LeBron. Thunder Spurs. In 2013, yeah. In 2012, the Celtics did not stand. I watched that Celtics series in 2011. They did not stand a chance against Miami. The Bulls didn't really do anything against Miami either. The Spurs got knocked out in the first round, so they wouldn't even have a chance. The Thunder were young as all hell. They wouldn't have beat them. The only team that really beat them in 2011 was a team that actually beat them in 2011, and that was the Dallas Mavericks. I think they would easily beat the Lakers. They'd easily beat the Celtics, which they did. They would have easily beat the Thunder as well because the Thunder were young as all hell. Oh, don't hand me the Hawks in 2012. The Hawks. Oh, oh, oh man. The Hawks in 2012. were competition to Miami. Only two teams in 2012 that were competition to Miami. The only two teams that were competition was Indiana and Boston. Bulls were not competition to them. Derrick Rose got injured in the first round. They wouldn't have been if they faced them. The Thunder in 2012 got one game off them. They really didn't stand much of a chance. The Heat and the Celtics were all close. No, they were all decided. Okay, in 2012 the Celtics gave them their money. In 2011 it wasn't. I watched those games. Yeah, I was young. I've rewatched those games. I'm not going to discuss how I've gotten those tapes. That goes to except game 5. Okay, yeah, but here's the thing. I could argue the same thing about Portland in 2016. People forget about that Portland. Yeah, but here's another argument I'll make for you. Are we going to act like Portland was tough competition for Golden State just because those games were close? Because I'll tell you what. I watched that 2016 Portland vs Golden State series, and all those games were relatively close. Like there were many stretches. It did look like Portland had a chance to win. Are we gonna act like that's great competition? No, because one team finished better than the other. Hmm. Games host. Yeah, every single game. Yeah, okay, so based off your logic, this. So I'll show you something. I'll show you this. Yeah, but they weren't gonna beat them. That was the thing. 'Cause they were just a better team. Like, are we gonna act like Detroit was competition for Cleveland? Because only one game was decided by more than 10 points in that Detroit versus Cleveland series. Game 1 was decided by 5 points. Game 2 was divided by 17, which is the one outlier. Game 3 it was decided by 10 points, and Game 4 was decided by 2. Like, are we gonna act like that's great competition? We're gonna act like Indiana in 2000. What was it? Paul George is like probably real last year in Indiana. We're gonna act like that was great competition. They lost game 1 by 1, game 2 by 6, game 3 by 5, and game 4 by 4. Are we gonna act like they were great competition? Okay, so because the games were close does not mean that it was competition. If they win in 4 games, they win in 4 games because the better team wins in 4 games. A competitive sweep. It's, okay, we could play this game with Golden State then. Let's play this game with Golden State. Even though they were young, also the Chicago series wasn't that close. They won game 1 in a blowout, but game 2 they lost by 10. Game 3 they lost by 11. Game 4 they lost by 8. The only real close game was game 5, which they lost by 3. Yeah, but the point is, like, you really can't argue that. And your argument in the first stream, which I remember, wasn't that, Golden State was better than Miami. Your argument wasn't that Golden State. I'm not arguing that Miami was better than Golden State. What I'm arguing is you said that the Golden State was the only true history. No, wait, oh my god, I'm missing on my thoughts because things are coming up. That Dallas team wasn't the same team, and that Lakers team wasn't the same team either. Well, maybe the Lakers team was actually the same team. I will admit that. But that Dallas team was not the same Dallas team from before. There's a great SB Nation video about how they kind of blew up that team. But to bring it back to the point, we weren't arguing that Golden State isn't a better super, because Golden State is a better super team than Miami. I'm arguing that you're saying that Golden State is the only true super team, when Miami fits the mold of what a super team was: 3 top 25 players, and yeah, they fit the mold for a true super team. And they were a true super team, considering that really only Indiana was able to consistently give them fits on their way to the finals. and the only team in the finals that was able to give him fits more than once was 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 the Spurs. We're not arguing if it's competition or not. We're arguing the fact that you said Miami wasn't a true super team when they were a true super team. Super teams. Yes, they can be super teams if they have competition. Golden State even faced competition. They went to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were a better super team, yeah, but let's not act like Houston didn't give them a run for their money. A super team is 3 players who can be the best player on a playoff team on the same team. And that's what Miami was, and that's what Golden State was. Yeah, they were a disappointing super team. They probably should have won more. They should have won 3 or more titles, especially if they didn't choke and if LeBron didn't choke actually in 2011. But they should have won at least 3. Let's get competition. A super team, yeah, but like yeah, they still have competition. A super team isn't the idea that you don't have competition. It's the fact that you have a team with like a bunch of a loaded roster. And Miami had a loaded roster with 3 really good players, 3 Hall of Fame level players. Like, I'm not arguing the idea because Golden State is a better super team. That isn't the debate. The debate is you're saying that Miami wasn't a true super team when they were a super team. Also, I would argue that 1 year of Boston where they won the title, and I would even argue the year after that because they would have probably won the title again if Kevin Garnett doesn't get injured. I would argue that like that's a super team as well. Because it doesn't define a super team. A super team is defined by its roster, not by the competition they face. Are you gonna call Shaq and Kobe a super team? Like, no, that was a dynamic duo, not a super team. Like, yeah, they steamrolled everyone. Like, I remember that 1 year where they won, like they lost like 1 game in the playoffs. Like, that's not a super team. I don't know, man. People, yeah, that's just players like Joe Johnson go run off against us apparently. That I don't know. I don't know that fully. I was just making something up there. But it's also got taken to 7 and 08 when they won the title. Yeah, so that's why does it matter if they get taken to 7 by a team? Like it's about the roster makeup, not who they face. Like again, you wouldn't call Kobe and Shaq a super team, or those Lakers teams a super team. But like again, like they didn't have a third player that could be the best player on a contender. They had 2 guys, Kobe and Shaq, but that like wouldn't be there. Like I wouldn't call Kevin Durant and Steph Curry a super team if Clay wasn't there or if Draymond wasn't there. More Clay than Draymond, but definitely if you didn't have either of them there, you wouldn't call that a super team. It's about the roster makeup. I do remember we did get taken to 7 though by Atlanta that year, and people were calling into question their team and things like that. But then what we did to I don't know, man. I don't like talking too much shit about those Celtics teams because those were such a bright spot in my childhood. Like I'm not like I think some people thought I was arguing that Miami was a better super team. They weren't. I'm not even arguing that they didn't go up against more competition. I'm just arguing the fact that you believe that that they weren't a real super team. They were a real super team. Super teams are about the monster maker, about the competition you face. Yeah, Boston can get a lot. Competition because like, are you gonna call like the Lakers because the Lakers steamrolled through the West one year? Are you gonna call them a super team just because they had Kobe and Shaq? Like that's not a super team. That's a dynamic duo, a dominant dynamic duo, but not a super team. Competition does not matter about super team. A super team is not defined by the competition they go up against, because there are super teams that face competition. Miami, Boston, they're two prime examples of super teams that face competition. Two, yeah, like the Bulls. The Bulls are not a super team. Exactly. I would like, are you gonna call the Showtime Lakers? Actually, you probably could call them a super team because that team, those teams were voted. Like they usually had like Worthy and Kareem and Magic, and I think you could argue that yeah, the Bulls were a dynamic duo. Oh, reconnected, connecting. My bad. Yeah, but it's not about that. Like you could argue they were a super team because they were loaded and had a loaded roster. But the problem comes with when the fact that it's inconsistent. Saying competition doesn't matter and saying, oh, because a team steamrolled, like you had to steamroll other players, another teams to be qualified as it. When there are teams that aren't super teams that have steamrolled through playoffs, like the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, like there's just little to no consistency with it. Like the Golden State wasn't a super team, even though they were able to go through the West. Like they weren't considered a super team until they got Kevin Durant because that's two players that could be superstars, one all and two all stars. Like you can't really be considered a super team until you have three players that are like that could be the best player on a playoff team. Like Golden State wasn't a super team until they got Kevin Durant. Miami wasn't a super team until they got Boston Wade, Boston LeBron. Uh, what was it? Boston wasn't a super team. No, they weren't a super team. They were not a. The Kobe and Shaq Lakers were not a super team. They didn't have a third player that could be the best player on a contender, and that's a fact. They had two guys. You can have yeah, they had two guys, but they didn't have a third all star. That's not a super team. That's a dynamic duo. Are you gonna call Are you gonna call Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen a super team? No, but like yeah, but they that doesn't make him a super team though. A super team requires three All Star level players at least. We're not gonna call Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen a super team because they dominated the '90s. Like you can technically like I would argue like you can make it somewhat of an argument that the Barkley a team like that was technically a super team. Like I think Clyde was on a team as well, but like they were all like super team is about a roster makeup, not who you go up against. I don't know what you don't understand about that. Like, yeah, Miami wasn't as good of a super team as the Warriors were, but they were still a super team. Just because you have competition each year does not mean you're not a super team. And granted, like like I would say probably after 2012, you could say that they weren't a true super team because they did face a lot of competition. Not a lot of competition. That's going against my argument. Yeah, if they all were healthy, they were a super team. But they weren't all healthy, so they weren't a super team. Yeah, you could if they were all healthy on paper. That 2013 Lakers team is a super team. But because they weren't all healthy, I won't consider a super team. Like I don't consider the 2019 Warriors to be a super team when Kevin Durant was dealing with injuries and when Klay Thompson was dealing with injuries. But when they were all healthy, they were a super team. It's why I don't consider Miami to be a super team after 2012 because Wade was dealing with injuries, Bosh was dealing with injuries, and Wade's play kind of fell off. But when they were like in 2011 and 2012, they were a super team because they were all playing at a high level. Wade never was the same after 2012, by the way. Is this Samuel's burner? Like, I understand the idea that like a super team has to have success to be considered a super team. Like, I would call the Lakers a failed super team. They were an attempt at a super team, and they had all the makings of a super team, but they failed because of Dwight's back injuries. Kobe was dealing with knick-knack injuries, of course, until unfortunately he tore his Achilles. No, they weren't a super team. You could argue that when they were all in their prime, they were a super team, but they weren't a super team. Like they were again another quote unquote failed super team. Although I do think that people overstate how bad Barkley was at that point. He still was a good player. I think Clyde was as well. But again, based off roster makeup, you could argue they were a super team. I'll look up that super. I'll look up that team. Okay, I don't consider him a super team, and the main reason why is Charles Barkley only played 53 games that year, and Clyde Drexler only played 62 games that year. And when we look at the playoff numbers, that's why I don't consider them because they didn't play a full season together. And I would argue they weren't because but if you had prime Barkley and prime Clyde and prime Akeem on the same team, oh, that's a super team easily. But because they weren't in their prime, I would argue that they aren't a super team. Like we can argue this all day, but like I believe that you had, yeah, we only played 53 games. And it was clear in the playoffs that he wasn't playing for the level he was. And Clyde was really good that year as well. But he only played 63 games. And it was clear by the time they got to the playoffs that those injuries had a lot to do with them because Barkley was only putting up 18 points. Clyde was only putting up 18. Hakeem was only putting up 23. And they actually did go decently far in the playoffs. Like, but it was clear that they weren't like a quote unquote big super team because they lost to Stockton and Malone. Like I think in their prime, if you had prime Barkley again, if you had prime McKean and you had prime Drexler, they would have steamrolled through the playoffs. But because even though Barkley was really good, it was clear he wasn't what he once was. Same with Drexler, same with this, and same with Hakeem even to some extent, although not fully. But yeah, because Barkley was really good in the regular season, but yeah, they were at the prime definitely by then. But you definitely saw like they dealt with injuries in the regular season. And I know, and even though like you could make an argument because they almost went to the finals, I wouldn't consider it though, just because Barkley wasn't his prime. Like at that point in his career, I don't think Barkley could have been the best player in the contender. Clyde couldn't have, probably wouldn't have been able to. The only player I believe could be the best player in the contender was Hakeem. But if they all were in their prime, easily. Like you had to have at least two players that could. You had to have two to be a super team. You had to have two players that I believe can be the best player in a contender, and then probably like one player that can be the best player in the playoff team. And then we'll see what goes on from there. Hmm. I think it might have been. Okay, I'll look that up. But a super team is about your roster makeup. That's not how it works. Then going that's yeah to you that might be it, but like that there's inconsistencies because that should mean that only super teams should be able to do that, but teams that weren't super teams or the roster makeup that isn't a super team have been able to do that as well and dominate eras and things like that. Like a super team is about your roster makeup. Really, it's like the word team is in the word super team for a reason because it's about the team roster makeup. But to answer your question, Mark, about that Houston year, um, Barkley was on the team, but Drexler wasn't on the team. To answer your question there. Um, this was actually a lot of fun, I will say that. I'm not here to disagree or agree with anyone. I love having these debates, things like that. I'm gonna wrap up this one though. It is getting close to 11:30. I'm getting tired and hungry. But I had a lot of fun. I'll let you guys know when I'm going live again. Maybe sometime in the future. I don't know, tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, probably, definitely on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll let you guys know then. But I had a lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Try to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But thank you. Thank you to everyone who left a question. It was a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Oh, actually, I'll see you guys in my next video. So make sure you watch that. If you haven't watched my Chet Holmgren video, go check that out. But I'll see you guys either in my next video or on the next stream. Have a good one, guys.